Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Mahavir Singh from Physics Department, Himachal Pradesh University, Shimla. Today we are going to talk on module Elementary Excitation 1 under the paper Solid State Physics. So students, let us see what we are going to learn in this module. In previous module, we discuss about the Mossbauer parameter on basic level. In this module, we are going to discuss Mossbauer parameter on in depth. We will study its theory and how we can calculate, and so we are going to discuss in deeper way whether it is isomer shift, whether it is quadrupole splitting, or whether it is hyperfine interaction. Then we are going to learn the Mossbauer spectra, how it look like if it is pure magnetic, and how it look like it is non-magnetic, and how it look like if it is super paramagnetic. So in this module, we are going to discuss whether it is Mossbauer spectrometer, then Mossbauer spectra, then these Mossbauer parameter in detailed manner.
Energy of electrical interaction of a nucleus with its charged environment. So in this equation, this total energy, which is integration, volume integration over charge density, and this phi is the potential, where V is charge nucleus volume and rho is the nuclear charge density in position R, and phi is a electric field potential of a charged surrounding of a nucleus. So if we decompose this electric field potential into the Taylor series at x1 equal to x, x2 equal to y, x3 equal to z, then phi iota with respect to 0, curly phi over curly xi, where I varies from 1 to 3, and if we further differentiate with ij, then that is curly square phi over curly xi at r equal to 0, where I and j varies from 1 to 3. Then this phi, this potential, electric field potential, consists of various component, that is phi 0 summation xi phi I plus half summation ij different xi xj phi ij, so on, by using this Taylor series. For a nuclear charge, it holds this ZQE, which is total nuclear charge, which is integration of this rho dV. Then second is dipole nuclear moment vector, which is Mi equal to integration rho xi dV, and third is quadrupole nuclear moment, which is tensor in nature. It is Qij, which is rho xi xj dV. So this effective nuclear charge radius is expectation value is given by a ratio of integration rho r square dV over rho dV. Three interactions, whether it is monopole and whether it is dipole or whether it is quadrupole, it is expressed in these equation. So first one is the electric monopole interaction. Let us discuss this electric monopole interaction, which is linked with isomer shift or chemical shift in the nuclei. The energy of electrical nuclear interaction in approaching the first three members of series is given by W is equal to phi 0 ZQE plus summation I from 1 to 3 phi I Mi plus summation Ij 1 to 3 phi Ij Qij. For an electric electron charge, the Poisson equation holds del phi r equal to minus rho over epsilon naught, which is equal to minus q over epsilon naught phi square. So this phi is the superposition of wave function of the surrounding charges with rho the density, forming the field having phi as a potential. So in energy increase of nuclear state are given by this equal to 1 by 6 ZQ square over epsilon naught psi square R square, expectation value of R square. And energy change of nuclear shift is given by delta W0 is equal to 1 by 6 ZQ square over epsilon naught psi square and square of radius of in the excited state expectation value minus expectation value of square of radius in the ground state. So this difference in energy of the same E naught transition in the source, energy transition in the source and in the absorber is given by delta equal to delta E in the absorber minus delta E of the source, which is equal to 1 by 6 epsilon naught ZQE expectation of square of radius of excited minus expectation of square of radius of the ground into charge square of wave function of absorber minus square of wave function of the source. So basically first quantity is the nuclear factor and second quantity is the atomic molecular factor. We can visualize in terms of figure to explain this equation. So basically there is shift in the peak. If there is change in the radius of the excited and ground state, then there is change in the isomer shift, which is expressed as V delta of the spectrum, and whether it is single peak or whether it is double peak, there is change in the. So basically this isomer shift, which is change in energy of the observer and source, it is basically different environment of the core of the nucleus, which is directly linked with the radius of excited state and ground state, and further it is nuclear in character. This is very important that this is nuclear in character. So this isomer shift, which is linked with electric monopolar interaction, it is nuclear in character and it is directly linked with the s electron charge density. And s electron charge density is further linked with whether it is linked with oxidation state, as we discuss in antimony, iron, or even it is possible in manganese, various kinds of element where there is change in oxidation state. And then accordingly also isomer shift can be linked with the nature of bonding, whether it is covalent bonding or ionic bonding. So we can correlate. So there is various possibility. Knowing this parameter, this powerful parameter, I think we can understand the chemistry of the material in deeper way.
So if we discuss about isomer shift, which provide the valuable physical chemical information about the observer properties of observer property, it is influenced by electron structure of an atom. So electron structure of an atom is further linked with atom valency, which we called covalency, then chemical bond and charge state, whether it is ferrous, whether it is ferric, as they differ significantly in terms of its hopping. And while an increase in the electron density, iron spectrum, iron 57 spectrum gives a negative shift because the change in the effective nuclear charge is negative, and increase in s electron density. In tin gives a positive shift due to a positive charge, due to a positive change in overall nuclear charge. So it may be isomer shift may be negative or it may be positive, as shown in tin and iron. So oxidized ferrous ions, ferric ions or ferrous ions, oxidized ferrous ion have a large positive isomer shift, and oxidized ferric ions have a large negative isomer shift.
Now let us discuss second Mossbauer parameter. First we have discussed this isomer shift. Now let us discuss this electric quadrupole interaction. As we know that there was three terms, one was linked with monopole, another was linked with quadrupole, and other was linked with dipole. Dipole was magnetic in character, and first one monopole was electric in character, and this quadrupole is electric in character. So basically Mossbauer parameter are directly linked with electric as well as magnetic. The nucleus with the non-spherical distribution of charge in a non-homogeneous electric field. So if there is a change in the shape of the nucleus, so it is directly linked with the quadrupole interaction. A tensor of the electric field gradient. So this electric field gradient is a tensor at proper choice of coordinate system, which is phi ij, which is not equal to 0, and ij vary from 1, 2 and 3. But there is condition for diagonal non-zero element, the Poisson equation hold, that is phi 11 equal to phi xx, phi 22 equal to phi yy, and phi 33 equal to phi zz. So phi xx plus phi yy plus phi zz equal to 0, and quadrupole nuclear moment, which is expressed as q, equal to phi zz over qe, and asymmetry parameter, which is linked with the shape of the nuclei, which is equal to eta equal to phi xx minus phi yy over phi zz. So parameter of non-homogeneous electric field at nucleus is given by this asymmetry parameter, which is equal to q, capital Q into qe under root 1 minus n square over 3. So basically this quadrupole, which is expressed as q, it is basically interaction between interaction of nucleus in terms of electric field gradient, variation in electric field at the nucleus. If this interaction there, then single peak, which was single peak in, if there is only one monopole interaction, then there is only one peak. But if there is quadrupole interaction, then this single peak split into doublet, whereas ground state remains singlet, and excited state split into two level, and there is well defined energy difference between these two levels. As we know that if we take into say for example iron, so iron, the spin of the iron in the ground state is half, and the spin of the iron in the excited state is 3/2. So if there is quadrupole interaction, so this I is equal to half remains singlet, whereas I is equal to 3/2 split into doublet, that is plus minus 3/2 and plus minus half. If we can calculate this quadrupole moment, then this is further linked with the shape of the nuclei, whether it is spherical, whether it is oblate, whether it is prolate. Then this quadrupole interaction is sometimes very important if we take the Mossbauer in the presence of magnetic field, and even at low temperature. At low temperature and in the presence of magnetic field, sometimes this quadrupole interaction play the very important role. For that need further deep understanding of that, which is beyond to discuss here. We can't will take much deeper understanding of this interaction, so that we can study at the higher stage. Quadrupole splitting of spectrum, with the existence of this quadrupole splitting of spectrum is evident that at a place of Mossbauer atom with non-zero quadrupole moment, there is non-zero homogeneous electric field, as we discussed. So this quadrupole splitting provides highly valuable information, that is the structure of an electron shell, then chemical bond, and overall crystal or molecular architecture. So basically in broader sense, as I discussed, it is linked with the shape, but if we go further, so it is linked with the structure of the electron shell, then chemical bonding, and overall crystal or molecular architecture. As I discussed, this is sometime important when we take the Mossbauer spectroscopy in the presence of magnetic field and in the cryogenic system at various temperatures ranges. Then third interaction comes the magnetic dipole interaction. I think this is very important interaction, because this is linked with the magnetic moment of the nucleus. So nucleus with non-zero magnetic moment in an effective magnetic field, there is dipole magnetic moment, which is mu equal to mu gi. G is gyromagnetic ratio, gyromagnetic factor, and I is the quantum number. Effective magnetic field at the nucleus is given by H equal to H local plus H hyperfine. Now this H local is the local field, so that is why sometime we call this Mossbauer spectroscopy as a complementary to the magnetization, because it gave us the local idea about the magnetism, how magnetic field is varying locally at nuclear level. Hyperfine field. So this hyperfine field comes basically in terms of we sometimes call this exchange, super hyperfine exchange interaction. Why we super hyperfine exchange interaction? Say for example in magnetite or in magnetic oxide, where oxygen act as a bridge between two transition element. So super exchange through oxygen. So basically this magnetic hyperfine interaction, due to this interaction, as we discuss in quadrupole splitting, these this ground state of iron whose spin is half, it's split into doublet, plus half and minus half. So basically magnetic interaction, then this ground state remains singlet. But if magnetic interaction comes into play, then this singlet split into doublet, plus half and minus half. And further, excited state whose spin is 3 by 2, if there is only quadrupole, it was doublet. That was plus minus 3 by 2 and plus minus half. Whereas if there is magnetic hyperfine splitting into account, then this plus minus 3 is split into doublet and plus minus half also split into doublet. So basically there are 6 well-defined transition. So these 6 well-defined transition, major outcome of this Mossbauer spectroscopy. So if our system is complete magnetic, sample is strong magnetic, it will show us 6-line Mossbauer spectra. And if it is 6-line Mossbauer spectra, it is because of magnetic dipole interaction. There can be isomer shift, there can be quadrupole, but if they say for example if our Mossbauer sample show only single peak, so it is only linked with isomer shift. If our Mossbauer sample show doublet, it is linked with isomer shift quadrupole splitting. But our sample shows the 6-line pattern. That may be well-defined peak of 6-line or relax. That is a separate discussion point. But if there are 6-line peak, definitely it is because of magnetic dipole interaction. One of the important, because of this interaction, we can get the 6-line transitions. The main sources of this hyperfine field is the source of this hyperfine field. Where it comes? It comes from contact Fermi nuclear interaction with the s electron and dipole-dipole nuclear interaction with electrons having non-zero charge density at the nucleus. So basically these are the two sources of hyperfine interaction. And energy of magnetic dipole interaction, the Hamiltonian of this magnetic dipole interaction is given by minus mu dot h, corresponding to proper energy value given by as a function of spin and magnetic quantum number, which is minus mu h mi over I, where EMD gives the energy change of nuclear state. Nucleus is found in the magnetic field. So studying condensed substances, the magnetic hyperfine spectrum structure provide valuable physical information about magnetic structure, magnetic phase changes and phase analysis. So this is very, very important. Even understand if we want to justify the magnetic structure. So I think this through this Mossbauer spectroscopy, this 6-line pattern is very, very important to understand the magnetic behavior of those material at different temperature range and in the room temperature, at low temperature, at high temperature, and even in the presence of magnetic field.
So now in this figure on left hand side it is with super paramagnetic state, and on right hand side it is a bulk state. So a room temperature Mossbauer spectra of bulk of nickel zinc ferrite have a 6-line pattern. It is well defined ferromagnetic long range ordering. There is well defined hyperfine interaction, and also there is isomer shift as well as quadrupole splitting. And so this is room temperature iron Mossbauer spectra, iron based Mossbauer spectra of nano nickel zinc ferrite particle. Whereas on the left hand side, Mossbauer spectra is there, but it is relaxed, and the ordering is not well defined. It is not well defined ordering, and there is no well defined 6-line pattern. So basically this is Mossbauer spectra of a one domain system which we call super paramagnetic state. So there is clear cut difference as far as this Mossbauer spectra is concerned at bulk level as well as at nano level. Then in this figure at room temperature Mossbauer spectra, when we put indium in nickel zinc ferrite, then even at nanoscale, where there was no ferromagnetic ordering, we got that ferromagnetic ordering. In this spectra, there is well defined ordering even at nano level. So at nano level, we can achieve the well defined long range ferromagnetic ordering and 6-line pattern. So indium play the beautiful role here to achieve the ferromagnetic ordering even at nano level. Then we also apply these data are in the presence of field also, where isomer shift is given at 0.17 millimeter per second at A site as well as B site. Then respective hyperfine field at A site is 41.76 Tesla, and at B site 46.17 Tesla. So these are basically the calculated values achieved through this nickel zinc nanoferrite substituted with indium. Then again, previous figure there was well defined ferromagnetic ordering, but here again that ferromagnetic ordering start decreasing, because if we put indium more than 10 to 50%, up to 10%, it's okay, we can achieve the ferromagnetic ordering. But if we increase the concentration of indium beyond 10 or 15%, again at nano level ferromagnetic ordering start vanishing, and spectra from relaxing mode goes to singlet, as it visible in the figure. For N2 sample, the relaxed spectra shows peak at 3.9 Tesla. Again, at room temperature Mossbauer spectra of all the nickel zinc ferrite in the presence of magnetic field. So these pictures shows in field data of Mossbauer spectra. Just see how the sextet is changing in the presence of magnetic field. Here on x-axis it is velocity which is given to the drive so as to compensate the Doppler effect, and on the y-axis it is intensity, which is directly linked with the number of counts of gamma photon received by detector through nuclear resonance fluorescence. And again in this figure, if we see the top figure, there is well defined 6-line pattern. So it is a ferromagnetic, well defined ferromagnetic. If we see at the bottom, the ferromagnetic ordering is no more, and in between there is a relaxation. So this is also interesting part if we want to study further. So here relaxation is very important part which is taking place. So spin relaxation and dynamic mode and other area which play the important role. So in order to understand this figure, from well defined ordering to from 6-line pattern to 1-line pattern. So this figure need to understand if we take into account the spin relaxation behavior and other dynamic mode into consideration. In this figure, as we know that this central part which is shown by arrow, this is a bulk. This is a bulk part, and at the surface, this surface which is there is disorder. So basically, I am what does this signify? Basically, when we goes from bulk level to nano level, there is surface disorder. So if we want to know this surface disorder, how much disorder is there on the surface, if we want to calculate this disorder, then I think Mossbauer spectroscopy is one of the very versatile tool to find this surface disorder, and we have already calculated how much is the disorder on the surface. So through this spectroscopy we can calculate this disorder also.